Hey crew, Mark Hadmaker here. Let's have a little mini talk about some rough and tumble. We're going to kind of confine it right now talking about some of the corruption in early boxing. We're talking 1870s uh, 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 sort of thing. This kind of thing we usually do over in our blog position, our free newsletter. We got thousands and thousands of pages as such a thing. Uh, but we're talking about an era whenever the corruption is rife, particularly we're from the eastern seaboard moving all the way up to the frontier, and we move out west. Long gone are the days where people like Yankee Sullivan and the people around who could be claiming that their man always put up a fair fight and never sold out. Well, selling out was getting to be part and parcel of the whole game, and then also violence was rife, not just in the ring with the fighters themselves, the combination fighters and the scrum of the matches and stuff. There was a phrase that went around pretty much said, the referee failed to be killed. And that's referring to how often fights were breaking out in and around the ring amongst not just the fighters themselves, but the seconds, everyone at ringside, and saying the referee failed to be killed, saying it wasn't as exciting as it could be because often there could be gunplay in there. We cannot forget there's a big gunfighter overhaul in there. We got Bat Masterson, we got Wyatt Earp, and many others lesser known folks who are part and parcel of this sort of thing. I mean, many prize fighters died violently in the 1860s and 1870s, not just from the ring. We got Dan Bendigo Smith. He's killed in a knife fight in St. Louis. I want to say it's 1862. Barney Ford, who had fought Ed Price and John Taylor. He was stabbed to death by his own brother-in-law. Then we got 3 years later, we got Henry Lazarus. He met the same fate at the hands of Barney Fury. Now, you get this, Fury was his next door neighbor. Lazarus was a lightweight. He owned a saloon. And they'd been spatting over something. It's go back and forth whether you hear it's women, money, or whatever. But that doesn't matter for the actual happenstance of this story. Fury walks into Lazarus's tavern and says, hey, let's let bygones be bygones. He puts his hand out to shake it. And Lazarus thinks, well, all right, here we go. He puts his hand, as soon as their hand together, Fury grabs and pulls him in, sticks a knife right there in his throat, and he bleeds out there in his own tavern. So, violence was the watchword in the world at the time. We know what, 1875, we get Ned Baldwin's business partner. He shot him to death in a saloon. Let's see, Patty Ryan, 1879. I think he was beaten by 9 guys and stabbed for apparently failing to perform a 3-round exhibition. So that seems a bit harsh penalty for such a thing. Can't forget the fighters are perpetrators of the violence as well, just not what's going on in there. We got Joe Coburn. He's sentenced to 10 years in prison for assault of attempted to kill a New York police officer. Let's see, we got Jimmy Elliott. He served 16 years for viciously beating up Henry Daugherty, who was a well-known minstrel singer at the time. Not politically correct at all, but it's just these fights are left and right. I'm just I'm just handpicking a few things and mentioning how often this was going on. And the mayhem in the ring, it's absolutely incredible. We get back to the phrase, the referee failed to be killed. Often whenever the melee began, it's just not the boxers, it's the seconds who are also involved, everyone in and around the ring. And we're talking, it is in particular, even though they showed up to see fisticuffs thrown, we've got people who are using their fists, but they're talking about it immediately devolves into actual rough and tumble. Lots of kicking, lots of biting, lots of gouging. Also lots of chemical play. People would keep vials of chemicals, glass things, or rags soaked in things so they could smash them in each other's faces, throw them on each other. Hell, there's acid being used, and also lots of pistol whipping, also known as the art of buffaloing. There was so many different ways because everyone carried a piece at the time. Just don't think firearms on the hip there. We're talking pocket guns or whatever. People were constantly pulling these, not always to shoot because we know that could make things for reals and forevers, but crazy different ways to hit. We'll stop it right there, but if you're intrigued by what we're talking about right here, hell, I'd send you over to the website, www.extremeselfprotection.com. We've got tons of freebie video and things. That ain't freebie there, but you can take a look as well and see if you want to jump aboard training the old school bandwagon. Also, we get thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of this historical stuff that you can browse through. That's for free. And then, of course, we got the podcast as well, where you can hear more such this. So this is basically just a podcast, except you had to look at me. And for that, I apologize. And let's end that error right now. Here comes my thumb.